Collins Cooking Show. It was Cook with Joy, and now it's becoming Cook with Jake and Joy, and our cameraman Derek, and probably other people. It's really Cook with us. But I'm so excited to be here today and chat with you guys about the upcoming recipe, which is complete balls. And it's funny because I actually make these probably more often than my mom does, so it just goes to show that I do cook. Well, more of an assembler, which this recipe really is about assembling, and it is so easy. I love complete balls because they're the perfect little burst of energy when you need it. When I was competing, I would have them between games. It was enough to give me a little bit of that oomph that I needed, but not make me too full. I also love having some of these on hand in the freezer for when that sweet tooth hits, which it does for me sort of often. And I want to reach for something that's not great for me, but instead I have these, which satisfies that craving, but also is filled with nutrition and plants. So I'm so excited for you guys to see this recipe today.
Yes, it is really true that Jake is great at making complete balls, and probably because we did make them so regularly, and there's not a lot to them. And what's awesome about them is that not only are they really delicious and they're really easy, like Derek, you love to eat these on the run.
It's one of my favorite things.
I mean, they're so great. You can make so many different flavors. We've done lemon with them. We've done peanut butter. I think we did chocolate one time. You can even melt some dark chocolate like this and dip them in them and have them be kind of a treat that you bring somewhere. But the secret is that there's a plant concentrate that the company we work for makes, and we add that to the mix, and that's what makes them so fabulous. So let's get started. Okay, almost every recipe that we use for the complete balls uses dates. And Derek had a question about whether or not you can buy pitted dates, and I think that you can, but it's not that hard to do, Derek. See?
Really? Even Jake or I could do it?
Yeah. So Derek tried making these, and
hey, I thought we were going to tell this story.
left the pits in. Did you eat them?
Yes, I
did?
spit out all the shell pieces.
They're seeds. They're pits. They're not shells. Okay, we're gonna soak these. There's about 12 of them in here. It's supposed to be a cup. I go give or take. You can add stuff to it, but we're gonna soak it a little bit while we add the other ingredients. So we've got water soaking in these. We've got these soaking in water because they get a little bit softer. They're a little bit easier to work with, but I've done them without soaking as well. And you can buy, sometimes when you buy dates in bulk, they're a lot softer than when you buy them in the clamshell like I did at Trader Joe's. Those tend to be a little bit more not so sticky and soft. Also, there's a little pit at the top, a little stem thingy where they come from off of the trees, and you need to make sure that you take those off, otherwise you're going to end up like Derek with them
picking them out of my teeth.
In your complete balls, picking them out of your teeth, yes. Little pits just look like this, and I don't know, maybe they would be good for you. Dates themselves are awesome in terms of high blood pressure. I mean, so many things that dates are great for, and they're a great sweetener. You don't need to add anything else.
Can I tell you about my blood pressure going up when I realized I ruined?
I bet. Now, this recipe calls for 1.33 cups of oats. I like to add a little bit of muesli to the oat mixture. Now, muesli I made last season. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, that was the best.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. And Jake's been drinking that. She's been eating that every day since she was a little girl, and it's really helped her to be a great athlete because getting this wide variety, there's nuts in here, there's seeds in here. If you haven't watched that recipe, you can just go to my Cook with Joy fan page or go to Cook with Joy or my YouTube channel, and you can find it in there. We're going to add this 1.33 cups to the food processor. You guys know that I often have challenges with food processors. I think I've got it down. So 1.33 cups. I'm going to add the mix, the plant concentrates. This has spirulina, pumpkin, it has pomegranate. I mean, it's really fabulous. If you want details about that, just message me and I'll let you know a little bit more about it, where you can find it.
Is it flavored?
Et cetera. This one's vanilla, and I've made some with chocolate in them, and those are really good too. I think my favorite are the ones I make with lemon. Did I make those last season or the season before?
I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago. I usually try to make them every time, Derek, because I know you love them so much.
My favorite.
But it's hard to keep them around when Derek's here. Now, this is going to be a holiday version of the complete balls. So what do you think is going to make it be holiday-y?
Ooh. Peppermint.
Peppermint, yes, peppermint. I don't know why peppermint's associated, maybe the red and white, the candy canes, but peppermint is definitely associated. So I'm just gonna add a sprinkling. You notice how I'm being very, very careful in my measuring. A sprinkling of peppermint chips. I'm gonna add those in there, and I just kind of do it to taste. And then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla.
I think peppermint tastes like Christmas.
Do you think it does? I'm gonna pour some vanilla in, about a teaspoon. I like a little bit more, so I'm gonna do a little bit more.
You'd be a great bartender the way you measure things.
I know. People would love me. I like this little measuring cup, measuring spoon because it's adjustable. And Pampered Chef makes these, and you can adjust it anywhere from a teaspoon all the way down to a quarter of a teaspoon. Yeah. It kind of looks like a pregnancy test.
That's what I kept saying.
But then they make a bigger one that's for tablespoons, and that one's kind of cute. So with this one, we're also going to add peppermint extract. If you were making the lemon, you'd use lemon. It basically is the same recipe with the lemon one. Instead of the peppermint, you'd add lemon extract, and instead of the peppermint chips, you'd add fresh lemon. And that really is basically the only difference. And then, of course, we roll them in some coconut, which I really like. All right, so let's drain off this water.
How long do you have to soak the dates for?
You know, it's your call. I thought about doing it overnight. I just like to get them a little bit moist. There's no science behind it. It's just a recommendation. And you know, probably this juice would probably be pretty nutritious to put into something. I don't know. I'm not going that far. All right, we're going to add the dates to the food processor, and we're going to turn it on.
You need help putting the lid on?
No, I just need help find it. Let's see. I think I did this yesterday, and I think I can get. Well, let's see.
You need a.
I got it. Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
It's gonna be loud. Okay, there you go. Now, one thing that a lot of people do when they make the complete balls is they don't mix them long enough, and then they're kind of like piecey, grainy, and then they won't hold together very well. So we want to wait until they're just like this, which is they're kind of crumbly. Can you see that?
Oh, that looks good.
They're really mixed together.
Can we just eat it out of the pot like that?
You could. I like to freeze them. Some people like them rolled in something. We could also, these would be really good in melted chocolate.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you want to get a bar of chocolate, I like to use, Trader Joe's actually makes this, which is really good. I used to get the really expensive stuff. It's like Scharfenberger or something like that, but Trader Joe's makes one that's exactly the same. You're gonna want to use a double boiler, which is boiling water with another pan on top of it. Sometimes I'll even put just like a little Pyrex dish on top. You melt the chocolate and then you can dip these complete balls into them, and that.
Like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound simple. I thought we were doing simple here.
This is simple. All you're doing is melting chocolate and dipping it. But I will add that unless you're an advocate of the benefits of dark chocolate, it doesn't add that much health to it, really. See the little mixture? You can either use a spoon or just your hands. The challenging thing is to keep them small. A lot of times people make them too big. I like these to be one bite size, and that's about like that. And then if you're going to freeze them, you can use a Pyrex dish like this. You can line it with parchment if you want to, but you don't need to. I like to have several different varieties of complete balls in the freezer at all times, but it's difficult when you have boys around because they eat them all the time. So when my husband's here, when Derek's here, I try to have them, but I did not do a very good job this time. But there you have it. Peppermint holiday complete balls designed for you to take to any party. So simple that Jake and Derek can, well, Derek is, we don't know if Derek can make them. Remember he put
I'll try again.
Left the pits in last time. Like I said, these are great for any party. They're so pretty. They look great. You can add the chocolate to it if you want them to be even more festive. And like I said, these guys can make them too. I hope you'll give them a try. If you want info about how to get the plant concentrates that we put in that add the added punch of more nutrition, just drop me a line, email, Facebook message, text, whatever, and I will give you a link to how you can get those. And I hope you'll join us for our next episode of Cook with Joy. And Jake, and Derek, and everybody.